comments. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you, thank you. Summarize in 20 words or less. No. We'll check this out, of course. Here we go.
Hey everyone, welcome to my very first ever YouTube video. I'm wanting to give a perspective of how I see the current state of modern gaming as a casual gaming enthusiast. Just to introduce myself, I'm a married man with a full-time job, and I'm dedicated to a lot of various other commitments in my life. While gaming is definitely my favorite hobby, I don't always have the time to enjoy it. There are times when I'll go weeks without touching a game, and then there are stretches where I can squeeze in maybe a few hours every day.
I'm like the opposite of what he said, Chad. I haven't seen a whammon in like 10 years because I chose
the reality for many of us, trying to balance work, life, and the hobby we love, gaming.
Yeah, I gave up everything for this. I don't even party.
Streamers or YouTubers who can dedicate countless hours year-round to gaming, but I do enjoy watching other content creators who live and breathe this stuff.
I'm glued to a chair!
That's not quite my reality though, and I know I'm not alone in this. So in this video, I want to represent the casual gamers out there, people like me who balance a love for gaming with everything else
casual gamers
in their lives.
Sure.
I hope to give a balanced view on controversial perspectives, and also hope I could shed some light on what I think are very important topics that can impact the future of gaming. Alright, first things first, and this is the breaking point that finally pushed me to make this video. I want to dive into the current state of AAA gaming.
You were the chosen ones! I hate you!
If you do a quick Google search, you'll find that AAA games are defined as high-budget, high-profile titles, typically produced and distributed by major, well-known publishers. But for me, as someone in my mid-20s who grew up playing some truly incredible games from these big developers, AAA used to mean something more. It stood for trust, originality, and most importantly, innovation. I think back to 2007 when I went on a Christmas holiday with my family in South Africa. I very quickly discovered Assassin's Creed and Call of Duty Modern Warfare at a local games shop. I was completely hooked. It probably wasn't the best for me as I was 9 years old at the time, but I fell in love with these games. While most kids will want to spend their summer vacation outside having fun, all I wanted to do was stay inside and play these amazing titles on my dad's MacBook, which he had installed Windows on just so I could play. Those games weren't just entertainment, they were groundbreaking. From that point on...
Oh my god, I remember doing this quest and saying, this is the best FPS game I've played in my life.
I had complete trust in AAA developers and publishers, and rightfully so. I'd even look for the Ubisoft, Activision, Sega, Blizzard, or EA logos on game covers or in magazines, knowing that they are a sign of quality.
I don't know, man. Is it like nostalgia, or it's just we grew, our technology advanced, games just upgraded? There's so much good games out there to compare to one game now. As in, like, back then I would go to Toys R Us, look at the back of the cover, and I see 3 images, good enough. Let's 돈 모으자 그래 한국말로는. Let's gather some money with my brothers and save up to buy something, right? Gaming as a whole is worse. Is it though? Because when I bought those games, it would have like a bunch of bugs here and there too. I guess some companies like push it, and there's some companies that hold back and delay the games if it's not ready. I'd rather have a game finished and delivered well than be rushed for the meeting requirements.
Those logos were like a seal of approval, a way to gauge whether I was making a good decision when getting hyped for or even picking a game. Do you remember that feeling of seeing those
It's so much worse. Yeah, but is it because we've played so many good games and there's been so many new games as well, right? That our standards are like higher too. Because I would buy these games called 101 games that I get scammed by like a weird guy from the street, and that 101 game only has 5 games, but it's like copy pasted all over, and then I would play one of those modes for like weeks, man. I feel like my standards are low for sure. It's not about the bug, it's just about pushing out garbage for investors now. That's true too. I think game companies that dig their head into like politics and push for a certain agenda, definitely I don't like that. I'm not a fan of. 100%, I see that for sure.
A game.
EA Games. Challenge everything.
Ubisoft. I haven't even seen that in such a long time.
That
Ubisoft.
rush of excitement, knowing you were about to dive into one of the best gaming experiences of your life. I do. But unfortunately, over the years, something has been happening, and it didn't happen overnight. It's been a slow, gradual change, like watching someone age or noticing yourself slowly gaining weight. It's happening right in front of us, but we don't fully grasp how much things have changed until one day we look in the mirror, or even at an old photo. and the
Holy,
difference
what game is
startling.
this? That
Over
looked
the years, the
insane.
trust, originality, and innovation that once defined AAA companies has been slowly fading. Seeing logos from developers I used to admire now fills me with skepticism, even a strong urge to avoid their games. What I find surprising is how patient and forgiving gamers have been towards AAA companies.
I
for
remember
so
writing
long.
names
A great
like that
example of
too.
this has been the Battlefield franchise, particularly with the launch of Battlefield 5 in November 2018. This is the first game in the franchise that was surrounded by quite a bit of controversy and received a lot of mixed and negative reactions despite being part of a well-loved, long-standing series of games. Although I am only talking about the Battlefield IP here, you'll probably notice similar patterns with other major AAA companies and their once revered franchises. Battlefield 5 faced backlash after its reveal trailer, primarily due to the perceived historical inaccuracies. The inclusion of female soldiers in a World War II game led some fans to criticize the game as unrealistic, sparking debate over political correctness. DICE, the developer, responded by standing firm on their creative choices, which only escalated the controversy. Further fueling the fire, a DICE executive famously responded to criticism with, "If you don't like it, don't buy it." Does this remind you of anything? This alone caused a portion of the fanbase to not buy into Battlefield 5, including myself. The game's marketing was seen as completely unfocused. The reveal trailer, with its chaotic and almost cartoonish tone,
I didn't play
confused
this.
fans about whether this game was a serious, historically themed World War II shooter. This lack of clear direction left many of us unsure of what to expect from Battlefield 5. Upon release, Battlefield 5 felt incomplete, missing key features such as the promised Firestorm Battle Royale mode and Tides of War live service content, which were delayed. Other promised features like the Combined Arms co-op mode were also absent at launch, making the game feel quite bare bones compared to previous entries like Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 4. When we finally got
Dude, these
features,
graphics
they
are
were
still
apparently not worth the
crazy
wait.
good.
Now this is what it is. And we've seen many glorious redemption stories from poor launches over the years. So I'll give it to DICE that Battlefield 5 is a decent enough game to play now. But upon launch, it disappointed quite a lot of us. In summary, and in line with my topic, Battlefield 5's launch was plagued by controversy, miscommunication, missing features, and technical problems, leading to a mixed reception and pretty disappointing sales. Now, this can happen. It can happen to any game, and there are some awesome redemption stories, like I said before. But there's not supposed to be a pattern. This is not supposed to happen to every single game on what was once a beloved IP from a company that is known for making incredible games in the past. If you're going downhill, if you are on track to death, survival instinct is supposed to kick in and you're supposed to turn around and go the other way. Anyway, now, in line with what I've been talking about with Battlefield, I want you to think back and see if you can spot any of these trends with other IPs from AAA developers over the years. Take Anthem by the one and only BioWare. The studio once celebrated for the very successful Mass Effect and Dragon Age franchises. Anthem launched with very confusing marketing, a lack of in-game content, and pretty terrible technical issues that quickly drove players away. If I remember correctly, players didn't even come to it because of how bad the gameplay looked compared to the launch trailer or the gameplay trailer. Mass Effect Andromeda is another prime example of this, plagued by terrible animations, off-putting character design, and a lackluster storyline that severely damaged the franchise's reputation. Then there's Assassin's Creed Unity, which was infamous for its buggy and nearly unplayable launch.
What the hell was that?
And I don't really want to dive deep into this, but it saddens me how 343 Industries have mishandled the series through ego, greed, and short-sightedness. For me, one of the sad ones was the decline of Bethesda with Fallout 76, which released in a very broken and unfinished state. It was missing NPCs, had constant bugs, and very poor performance. It left us fans quite frustrated with how Bethesda handled such a beloved series. Even after AAA companies have tarnished the reputations of so many once beloved IPs, we as casual gamers still find ourselves getting hyped over their new announcements. Well, at least many of us did until recently.
Perhaps you should have let go also.
I vividly remember after watching the Battlefield 2042 trailer in 2021 that told my friend that this Battlefield is it. This is where DICE and EA will redeem themselves. They have to. Despite the numerous missteps and disappointments
That guy's shooting a rocket out of a plane.
Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 2042, myself and a lot of gamers
shit,
still
Warcraft.
maintained our patience and trust, believing that a AAA company, DICE, would finally deliver, that AAA companies could still be trusted. Unfortunately, the game fell short. My friend and I ended up refunding Battlefield 2042 within just 10 minutes of playing it. I'm focusing on Battlefield mainly because it has been my go-to franchise in the past. I loved it. I was an OG Battlefield 2 player. I was unfortunately too young when Battlefield 1942 came out, but I thoroughly enjoyed the Battlefield 2 experience. Bad Company 1 and 2 were absolute gems, introducing the destruction mechanic.
I'm curious where this is going.
Apart from other FPS games. I remember growing up in South Africa at Battlefield 3, which I played on 27 to 28 FPS. I think I clocked over 900 hours playing like that on my old PC. I love that game so much. I'm sure many of you who are old enough can relate to this experience with other beloved franchises. Maybe you were a die-hard Halo fan, or you couldn't wait to see what Ubisoft would deliver after the experience of Assassin's Creed Black Flag, only to find
How's the new Assassin's Creed doing? I heard a lot of mixed stuff about it. I don't think people like it, right? Warcraft 3 was the biggest flop. Is over? Dude, I need to watch a video on that too. I think Warcraft 3 had big potential, but they delivered it too fast. I don't think it was finished. Because I remember playing it at BlizzCon with Clack and Stoops. It was not ready to go out. They needed a little bit more time. I don't think they had more time though. One video, my brother, you need to watch at least five videos. There's gotta be a video that has everything in it about the new Assassin's Creed, no? It's becoming meta to buy unfinished games that they finish 2 years later. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think they meet the time. They need more time, I guess. Goodness gracious. Cyberpunk's a great example. That game was super fun for me, but I played it way later before the release date. And I remember when it first came out, people were pissed at all the bugs and saying they can't play it, right? There's so much shit on AC Shadows that I'm gonna have to check it out, man.
Appointment year after year. The state of the majority of AAA gaming is devastating. There are only a few exceptions, companies that seem to still have their fans' best interests at heart. Even among these, cracks and doubts remain. Rockstar Games and From Software are notable exceptions, but today I want to focus on what I grew up defending, admiring, and loving.
Okay.
Ubisoft. I used to brag to my friends about how much I loved Ubisoft and their games, urging them to join me in this passion.
I was gonna say
I find myself
who,
checking
but
the news and stock prices to see if they finally pulled the plug on their live support. It's taking me to this place where I want to see Ubisoft crumble and go bankrupt. They've made me feel stupid for supporting them, treating casual gamers like we're not in the know somehow, or we live under a rock. Usually someone like me, just a casual gamer, doesn't pick up on the behind-the-scenes politics of game companies. I'm just living my life, playing whatever games I think look cool and enjoyable. But locking me out of gaming content at launch with superficial pricing, throwing innovation out the window, flooding your YouTube promotional videos with obvious bot comments and likes.
If you look at every single positive comment, they are within 4.9.
Dude, the weather looks insane. There's no way this happens.
To 5.1 thousand likes.
I need this game now.
And every single one of them is being made by an individual with a first name, last name, number combination.
This has been the final straw for me. It's disheartening to watch a company that once felt like a beacon of creativity and passion turn into what seems like a cash grab machine. Remember when Ubisoft used to take risks, crafting immersive worlds filled with depth and rich storytelling? Games like Prince of Persia and Splinter Cell felt innovative. and they challenged the norms of gaming. Now, it feels like they're just recycling formulas, relying on the same IPs or brands year after year, all while trying to squeeze more and more money out of their fans. And it's not just the content that's lacking, it's the connection. I remember the excitement of discovering new worlds and characters that felt alive and engaging. But now it seems like the focus is solely on monetization strategies, season passes, microtransactions, and limited time events that prioritize profit over player experience. The joy of gaming has been overshadowed by this relentless push for profit. Now, I know this is being said all over YouTube. I've come across videos of this before, but I am coming to you as a casual gamer. A lot of us are only discovering this in the last few months. Some of us maybe in the last few years. Some of us even today on this video, we're discovering these things. The thing that I find crazy is with the grace that we show these companies, we still tend to trust their trailers and their adverts. You guys have promised so much through your gameplay trailers, your cinematic trailers.
I don't trust, dude. I look at it, and if I don't think I'm gonna play this within a month or two, I don't play it.
All of that.
I guess if it's story, you can play it one time and stop.
The first case of this, where I truly experienced it, was the first trailer that came out for The Division. I remember looking at this, thinking this is truly a next-gen experience. I am looking forward to this. This is going to be great.
I'm pretty picky with games
watching
nowadays.
Gameplay footage after it. And what I find strange
Holy
is
moly, that looked
we're
insane.
so used to this as gamers. We have normalized this. We expect it. We watch a gameplay trailer and we're like, okay, I know it's going to be worse on launch, but it is what it is. We just accept it. After all of this, for quite a while, I believe that Ubisoft had the potential to return to its roots, to listen to us fans and reignite that spark of creativity. The thing that drove this thought was, don't they want to make money? Are they not tired of losing money? But apparently their idea of making money is very different. Everyone is trying to be the new Fortnite, with their battle passes, with their DLCs, with their paid for content, their add-ons, especially on single player games, which makes no flippin' sense. So I used to believe this. I definitely don't believe this anymore. I don't believe that there's actually a way for Ubisoft to come back. A wise, bold man once said,
I believe you cannot reason a person out of a position that they did not reason themselves into.
In this case, the person is a large AAA company. Greed, ego, and toxic positivity that permeates their messaging doesn't stem from reason. They come from a disconnection with the very players who once supported them. It's frustrating to see how these companies prioritize profits over passion. The decisions being made seem driven by a boardroom mentality rather than a genuine love for gaming. When the focus shifts to maximizing shareholder value instead of crafting meaningful experiences, the heart of what makes gaming special gets lost. But despite these frustrations with the AAA landscape, I'm actually quite grateful for indie developers and smaller game studios. This year, in my opinion, has been one of the best years for gaming that I've experienced in a long time. For the first time in years, I actually find myself with multiple games on my Steam account that I really want to dive into, but I just don't have the time to play them all. Titles like Black Myth Wukong, Helldivers 2, Power World, Enshrouded, Once Human, Space Marine 2. I say that, but I actually finished the campaign because I enjoyed it so much. I think I finished it within 2 days, which is a lot for me. That's good for me. All these games really have captured my attention this year. They are innovative and original. Some of them not original, but they take what
Power World is not original. What?
And they've expanded on it with innovation, with passion, with obvious zeal for their gaming. Take Power World, for example. Everyone loves Pokemon. People enjoy it. I never really got into it myself, but hearing the stories, watching the YouTube videos, everyone has been waiting for a Pokemon game like Power World. For me, Power World scratches an itch that a lot of people have been dying to scratch for many years, and this is why Power World has been successful. Why have you not made a game like this?
I knew all my friends are not gonna play this after a week. Thank God I didn't get it. None of you guys still play it.
And though, who knows? You don't like money, apparently. There's other games that I am also looking forward to playing, which I just don't have time for, like Deadlock, or even the DLC for Elden Ring. These games,
this was really good.
Remind me of the creativity and passion that still exist in the gaming world, reigniting my excitement and hope for what is to come, but not from AAA games, AAA companies, or AAA IPs. In an ideal world, we will see the death of Ubisoft, of other big AAA companies eventually. And with this death, I hope that they are able to sell their IPs to other companies that are passionate about gaming. I would love to see Star Wars or Assassin's Creed in the hands of a company that cares about the fans. I think I'm going to end this video here.
Yeah, I used to love Star Wars. Star Wars is so bad now.
planning on doing a part 2 of this, so do subscribe if you're interested in that. But yes, otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
All right. So what he's trying to say is there are some good new games coming out, but the original companies are turning into shit. Should we watch the P2 chat? Oh, he literally only has 2 videos.